Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me and we're all set up. Sorry, I'm a minute late. I was trying to set up the stream and it wasn't working. So, hello. I can see people in the chat already. Hello to Stacy. Welcome back. Hi to the next person. I can't read your name, but hello. Thank you for joining us. And some of our regulars, Sun Young, hi, and Sowoo, and Over the Moon, and Donghan. Hello. Hi guys, I hope you're okay and you're having a good Tuesday. Seiwu has asked, did you see the funeral of Philip? Actually, no. I saw a couple of clips and a couple of pictures, but I didn't actually watch the whole thing. Although I was in a shop on Saturday for the first time in a long time. Shops are now open. And on the radio, they said that we were going to observe a minute's silence for Prince Philip. So everyone in the shop stopped and was quiet for 1 minute. So that happened on Saturday. Yeah. Did you see it? Did you see any of the pictures or videos of the funeral? Any of you? Of Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, who sadly died not long ago. Over the Moon says, what did you do over the weekend? Oh, thank you for asking. Well, as I just said, it was the first week when all of the shops and restaurants and pubs opened for the first time in months. So I took full advantage of that, I must say. On Friday, I went for a drink at the local pub with my fiance. We just had a beer together. We're not allowed to stay indoors at the moment. There are still restrictions. So luckily this pub had a nice garden at the back. Pub gardens are very popular in the UK anyway, especially in the summertime. But even more so now because of COVID, it's the only place you can drink really, apart from in the park. So yeah, we went to have a drink in the pub garden. And then on Saturday, we went shopping. And yeah, just went shopping, lots of shopping over the weekend, really, finally. So that was really, really fun. How about you? Any interesting things you guys did over the weekend? Welcome back to Chan. Hello, I hope you're okay. And AR, welcome. Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? Sanyang says, it's nice to have a nice place near my house. Yeah, it must be, if you've got somewhere, you know, that you can go that's not too far from your house, especially if you're drinking there, you don't need to get a taxi home. You can just walk. Hello to Sky, welcome. Do we have any new people in the house today? Any new listeners joining us for the first time? Let me know if you're new. It's always great to have new people as well. Over the Moon says, I like your earrings. Thank you. Yeah, I thought I'd match them to my top today, a bit of colour. I love earrings. Earrings and rings are my favourite things in terms of jewellery. Thank you. So yeah, in terms of news from the UK, I would say that's the biggest news, that now shops are open. So I think many people have been taking advantage of that and trying to go to a pub garden as well. Apart from that, not much other news. So yeah, just that one really. Sky has mentioned the vaccine. Sky says, I got the AZ vaccine and suffered from myalgia, headache, lethargia. Oh no. Are you still suffering now? I'm sorry to hear that. I do know some people who've had the vaccine already, and it depends on the person. Some people suffered side effects, but other people didn't. It really depends on the person, it seems. I hope you feel better soon anyway. Thank you, Seiwu. That's nice of you to say. I do like bright colours. I just don't wear them very often, especially in like winter clothes. But my summer clothes are a bit brighter. You'll start to see me in the summertime getting brighter and brighter, and then autumn darker and darker. Hi to SY. Are you new as well? If you are new, hello, welcome. I'm glad you're getting better, Sky. Good to hear it. And hello to Chris, welcome back. So the topic of the day, maybe we should get started, is what British people say versus what they actually mean. So the title must have been quite confusing for some of you, because you might think, well, do they not mean what they say? Are they liars? No, we're not liars. However, as I've mentioned in lots of other live streams, especially about British culture, most British people don't like to offend others, and they always like try to avoid confrontation. So they avoid argument, or, you know, awkward silences, awkward moments, that sort of thing. And because of that, our language has adapted. So the language we use in everyday situations has adapted because of that. And when you compare the way British people express themselves to the way, for example, maybe an American or an Australian might express themselves, then you will notice a difference, probably. Again, as usual, I'm always generalizing here. So this doesn't mean that every British person doesn't like confrontation and every British person is polite or indirect. There are direct people, of course, and there are indirect Americans and Australians, I'm sure, as well. But I'm just generalizing, and I think there are some elements of truth in these different aspects. So I hope you can learn from it, and you can tell me, of course, if you've ever been to the UK or if you know any British people, have you noticed that they say these types of things? So yeah, that's my little intro to the live stream. That's what we're going to be talking about. Mainly phrases that British people say, or words that we use that may not be exactly the same as you would imagine them to be, basically, in their meaning. Okay. So back to the comments. Don Hang says, did you get shot? No, I didn't get shot. I'm alive. No, don't say, did you get shot? Because it sounds like somebody shot you with a gun, a pistol. You can say, did you get your shot? Or you could use the word jab, J-A-B, jab. Did you get your jab? We use that word more in the UK. And it means your vaccination or injection. And no, unfortunately, I haven't had it yet. I'm lower down on the list. But I'm waiting patiently for my phone call. Sanyang says, I love today's topic. Brilliant. Okay, I'm glad. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments along the way. But we're going to go to our first slide. The first point that I want to talk to you about, which is this. So a British person might describe something as not bad, okay? Or they might include the word too and say not too bad, all right? Now, if somebody said to you, that's not bad. Let's say you were to, I don't know, show them some work that you've done, or I don't know, like show them something or tell them something that happened, and they say, oh, that's not too bad. What do you think it would mean? Donghan says, but it's bad, right? So you see it as a bad thing because of the word bad, I suppose. Yeah, I think this is kind of the common feeling with people who aren't British. If somebody said that's not bad, it looks quite negative because of the word bad. However, Chan has mentioned good, Sky has said good, and yeah, you are right. If we say something's not too bad, it actually means that it's good, or we use it when something's better than you expected it to be, a lot of the time. Now, the reason we don't say, oh, that's amazing, or oh, that's fantastic, is because of, as I mentioned before, you know, British people are a little bit more conservative usually in giving compliments to people or receiving compliments from others. So they try to make their compliments sound less direct or less kind of exaggerated. So instead of saying, oh, that's really good, or that's amazing, or that's fantastic, which is what maybe an American would say, oh, that's awesome, or that's fantastic, we would actually say, that's not bad. However, somebody who's not British, if they hear not bad, they might think, that's not good then, right? So let me give you a couple of examples. So if somebody says to you, that wasn't bad for a first attempt. So maybe if you did something for the first time ever, and somebody complimented you by saying, that wasn't bad for a first attempt. That wasn't too bad for your first try. Okay, this is a compliment. Or for example, they've been married for over 20 years. Not bad, eh? So we're kind of complimenting the fact that they've stayed together for so long, like it's, you know, it's a good thing. It's not bad. And finally, she found out she wasn't too bad at sports after all. So maybe she thought she was going to be terrible at sports, but actually she found out she wasn't too bad. So this expression, not bad, if some British person says, oh, that's not bad, when you do something, then you know that actually they are complimenting you. Okay, so it's actually a positive thing for us. It's quite rare, I guess, for a very British person to say, that's amazing or that's awesome, because we are a little bit more subtle, a bit less direct than that, if that makes sense. So any questions about this? Let me know in the chat if you have questions, because otherwise we're going to move on to number 2. We have somebody with a Russian name. I'm not sure what your name is exactly, but I have seen you before. Thank you for joining us again. Said it's pretty good, I think. Yeah, so it's a good thing to say that's not bad. Yeah. Donghan says you're not bad at mimicking Americans. Thank you. Oh, I've been practicing. And Sky says Americans don't use this expression. They might use it, but perhaps they wouldn't use it maybe as much as we do in order to compliment someone. I think that if an American was to say it, maybe there would be a but after that, you know, like that's not bad, but could be better. But in Britain, there's not necessarily a but after that. You see what I mean? So, moving on to the next one, which is kind of related to this. This is number 2 of our list of 8. So number 2, we have quite good. So notice the use of the adverb quite in this case, all right? So if, for example, I ask my friend, how was the film? So imagine your friend went to the cinema, watched a film, and I ask the next day, how was the film? And they say, quite good. If they said this to me, I would imagine that this doesn't mean it was very good. It kind of means it wasn't great. So the word quite makes it sound like something wasn't so good, or there was something that went wrong, maybe. So there have been situations with very indirect British friends of mine where I asked how something was, and they said, oh, quite good, but I don't think I'll be going there again. Which is confusing, right? Because a non-British person might think the word good is good, right? It's quite good, meaning, you know, pretty good. But actually, it doesn't mean that. It means it was okay. It was okay. So it doesn't mean it was amazing. It was quite good, okay? So perhaps if you went to a restaurant and you say, oh, it was quite good, it means maybe the food wasn't amazing, the service might have been slow. So you might actually find out that it was a disaster in the end. If a British person says it was quite good, it doesn't mean that. It actually means not very good. Yeah. So Donghan says lower than the expectation. Yeah, I would say it means, lower than the expectations you had. Exactly. Yeah. Sky says it was good, but it wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah, it could be that. It could be it was good, but not really for me. Yeah. Sewu says so. Yeah, so and so, quite good. Yeah. Let me give you some examples. Conversation between A and B. A says, how was the film last night? Yeah, quite good. I found it a bit long though. So as you can see, the person has added a reason as to why it wasn't very good. Okay. Another example, he was quite good at football when he was younger, but he's out of practice now. Yeah. So he was quite good at football, but now not so much. Yeah. So there's always kind of like a but when you say that, usually. It also does depend on your intonation, however. Okay. So if I say it was quite good, so I kind of go up and then down, it sounds like there's a but. It sounds like I'm going to say but, blah, blah, blah. But if I go up with my intonation, say it was quite good, it almost sounds like, oh, it was better than I thought. It was quite good, actually. Yeah. But if you say it was quite good and go down, quite good, there's something not great about it. Sun Young says, I can understand what you say, but it's so confusing. It is, that's the thing. Like all this kind of indirectness can be a bit confusing. But yeah, if you are wanting to live in the UK, travel or meet people from the UK, you might want to know about this. And also tone. Yeah, tone is also important, Sun Young, you're right. Right. Okay, I think that's it for those ones, for talking about good and bad. We're going to move on to a different one. Let me know if you have any questions. Chan says it depends on the intonation. Yeah, it sometimes does. Yeah. It does, I would say so. Right, let's move on to number 3. So our third one. Oops. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Number 3. My computer's being slow today. There we go. Okay. So if a British person says to you, it's a bit blah, 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 isn't it? Or even without the isn't it part. So it's a bit, or that's a bit, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, you have to have an adjective next. Yeah, like it's a bit cold, isn't it? It's a bit rude, isn't it? It's a bit, so you have to have an adjective next. But if you notice a bit, so the meaning of bit is a little, okay? However, if a British person says it's a bit, it actually means it is very, or it's really. So it's not as weak as it sounds. Okay, yeah. So, for example, the other day I had someone come to my house to do some fixing something in the house, and it's quite a cold day. And he came in and he said, "Oh, it's a bit chilly, isn't it?" Chilly meaning cold. And I agreed, it was cold. It was actually freezing though. But the fact that he said it's a bit chilly made it sound like it was less of a problem. So it wasn't affecting him so much. But I think it really was affecting him. So I turned the heating up. So you see what I mean? So somebody might, in order for a British person to say, that's a bit, or it's a bit, it probably means that they are feeling that way quite a lot, if that makes any sense. Let me give you some examples. So if somebody's wearing a bright color, like I am today, and somebody says to you, that color's a bit bright, isn't it? A bit bright. It doesn't mean it's a little bright. It actually means, oh, it's very bright. So maybe this person doesn't like the color. Or another one, she's being a bit rude to you, isn't she? So a bit rude to you. Actually, she's probably being very rude. But we don't normally say, oh, very, because very is quite strong. So instead, we might say, it's a bit. So a bit is a very common phrase in British English. We like to use a bit or a little when really we feel like it's, worse than that. So she's being a bit rude to you. She's probably being horrible to you. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, I hope this isn't confusing you too much, but this is these are things that are, quite common in everyday speech. Sun Yang says, aha, I got a hand of it. Oh, I like the fact you tried to use that expression, but it's not actually hand, it's hang. I got the hang of it. H-A-N-G, the hang of it, meaning I got used to it. Good, I'm glad to hear that. British are like people, I'm not sure what that means, who are using irony very well. Yeah, what does that mean, that Korean word? Can anyone translate for me? If you're saying that we are, indirect, then yes, we are, usually, yeah. Again, I'm generalizing, but that's usually the language that we use. Okay, guys, so we're going to move on to number 4 in our list of 8. So we're halfway through now. Number 4. So imagine, in this one, imagine that you bump into someone, okay? So you bump into an old friend or an acquaintance or something. And that friend says, we should get together sometime. Get together means we should meet, okay? We should get together sometime. This is a good way of ending a conversation when you meet someone. So it's a good way of kind of, maybe you haven't spoken to them in a long time. Maybe you haven't seen them in a long time. So at the end of the conversation, you can end the conversation with, oh, we should get together sometime. Yeah. If somebody says this to you, it does not mean that. It means we probably won't get together. Some of you have written about my question earlier, and they said it's the name of a Korean region. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Riri is laughing. Yes, so we're basically saying the opposite here. So if you're chatting to someone you haven't seen in a long time, and they say, oh yeah, we should get together sometime, don't expect an invitation or to see them ever again. It means we probably won't get together. Yeah. Donghan says, another way of saying goodbye for a long time? Yes, kind of, Donghan. Yeah, you're right. So it kind of, it makes you feel like you're going to meet again. So it is not unfriendly. It's a friendly way of ending the conversation. But probably both of you know that it won't happen, really. Yeah. So what should you do if somebody says this to you? Well, if somebody says this to you, definitely don't get your diary out and start going, oh yeah, well, maybe we can meet on Saturday next week. Don't do that. Don't say to them, oh yeah, great, are you free on Sunday? Don't do that, because it will make the situation very awkward for both of you, okay? Instead, you just say, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, so just agree to that. Even if you don't want to see them, if you do want to see them, it doesn't matter. Just say, yeah, that would be great. And that's it, really. Yeah. Some of you are mentioning this in the chat and saying that you do this in Korea, in your own countries as well. So you say, let's have some dinner sometime. Aha. Chan said in Korea, we say, let's eat together sometime later, and then we never meet. Yeah, okay. Sanyang says, let's have a meal. Okay, so it seems to be, yeah, it seems to be quite common. So obviously you could change this. You don't have to say get together. You could say, oh, we should meet up sometime, or I don't know, we should go for a drink sometime or hang out. So you could change that part. But basically, just culturally, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to meet up. Yeah, don't say, did you mean it? So an example here. So at the end of a conversation, after you've been chatting to someone you haven't seen in ages, you can say, well, it was nice to see you. We should get together sometime. And the other person goes, yeah, definitely. Speak soon. And that's the end of that. And you probably won't speak soon, and you probably won't meet again, but it's a good way of ending the conversation. Yeah. All right. So it seems like this is quite a, similar thing to a lot of you in your own cultures. There you go. Unseo has asked, I thought get together is a meaning when someone starts a relationship like a romantic way. Oh, good comment. Yes, it could be. Like if you get together with someone, it could mean that you start dating them, you start going out with them. However, it depends on the context. So if it's a friend of yours or something like that, if you say let's get together, it just means let's meet. Okay, so it depends on the situation, really. Today's title, Understanding British Black Comedy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so sometimes people say, let's say you end the conversation like this and you do want to see the other person, and maybe you have friends in common. You might say, well, I'm going to John's party on Saturday, so I might see you there. And then notice the use of the word might. I might see you there. So by using might, it shows, there's no commitment to this. So I might see you there because you might go also, I might go, but it doesn't mean that we're definitely meeting at that party. So that's also another thing that people do in relation to this. Yeah. So Sanyang says that you say Kakao Talk me. Yeah. Message. Yeah, we might say like message me. Yeah, instead of speak soon, you could say message me. Yeah, that sort of thing. Brilliant. All right, let's move on to the next one, guys. So we're moving on to number 5, which is a very interesting one, especially in formal situations. You might already know this expression. Some of you, let me know if you've heard it. So if someone says, with all due respect, what do you think they mean? When would you use this expression? Does anyone know? Maybe you've heard it before. It's very much used in a polite way and also in a formal way. Donghan says, without any offense. Yeah, it means without offending you. Very good. Some of you have not heard of it before. Riri says, when we want to disagree. Very good, Riri. This is exactly when we use it. So, if you say to someone, with all due respect, this means I'm about to disagree with you. So, I am going to disagree with you. Yeah. Or maybe you want to show I'm unhappy about this. So, the next thing that comes out of your mouth when you say with all due respect will be some kind of disagreement. Okay, so it's a good way of showing that you disagree in a discussion, in a serious discussion, or in a formal discussion, without being too direct. And it's very polite, but everybody knows that if you say this, the next thing that comes out of your mouth is going to be something something that might offend you, or might, you might disagree with that person. Okay, for example, With all due respect, I'm not sure that this plan will work. Okay, so imagine somebody at your workplace, you're having a work meeting, you're discussing plans, and somebody suggests something and you don't think it's going to work, but you can't say to them, no, I don't think that will work. That's much too direct. Instead, you can say, with all due respect, I'm not sure that this plan will work. Okay, so it's a good way of saying, I don't agree with you, basically. Another example, I've been thinking about what you said, and with all due respect, I think perhaps you're mistaken. Notice the length of the sentence, okay? So we want to disagree with someone, so we don't use a short phrase. We actually lengthen the sentence to make it sound more formal. So as you can see, we can use with all due respect at the beginning of the sentence, or you can use it in the middle of two clauses, okay? Like in the second example. Also notice, I'm not sure that, so maybe I'm very sure that it will not work, but I don't say that. I would say, I'm not sure that it will work. So it sounds more polite as well. And then the second example, I think perhaps you're mistaken. So I think perhaps is like maybe. So I don't want to be too direct or rude. So I'm using all of these words to show you, with all the respect that I can, that actually I don't agree with you. So yeah. Over the Moon says, don't take it personally. Yeah, it's kind of like saying don't take it personally. But it's along the same lines as that, yeah. Donghan says, when you suggest something against your boss, it could be, yeah, it could be your boss, your colleague, it could be a friend or family member. Maybe you don't want to upset them or about a sensitive issue. Yeah. Sky says, great kingdom politeness. Yes, we all like to be polite, exactly. So this is the perfect example of this. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. Number 6, I think it is. Yes, number 6. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the rest, and then we've got a mini quiz as well, as usual. I know some of you really enjoy that, so I always try to include it. So let's move on to number 6. We'll see. So we'll see. So we apostrophe LL stands for we will. Okay, we'll see. If somebody says, we'll see. If you ask someone, do you think blah, blah, blah? Do you think this will happen? Do you think we can do this? And they say, we'll see. It means that's probably not going to happen. Okay? So it's kind of like indicating to the person that, maybe we can discuss that at a later date. Maybe we'll talk about it later, but it probably won't happen. Okay, so it's not a very good indication. It's not very hopeful. Okay. So if you ask someone for a favor or you ask someone to do something and they say, we'll see, don't hold your breath. Meaning, don't wait for them to say that it's actually going to happen. It probably won't. For example, when I was a child, my mum, I would say, Mum, can we get ice cream after school? She'd say, we'll see. It means, we'll see, it maybe, that's kind of the meaning, but actually it means, it probably means no. Another example, he said he'd get here on time, but we'll see. So maybe this person that I'm talking about is renowned for being late. So they're well known for being late. So I say, he said he'd get here on time. So he said he would be here at the right time, but we'll see. Meaning, I'm not hopeful that this will happen. Okay, we'll see. So some of you have commented. Sky says, Trump, we'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, so no promises, basically. That's kind of what it means. Yeah. It means I'm not sure about something. Yeah, it means I'm not sure. It kind of means more like I'm not hopeful that that will happen. Yeah, it probably won't. Yeah, but of course we don't want to say that directly. So instead we say we'll see. Yeah. Um, Unso says, when someone says that to me, that means I don't really trust you, man, with yeah, exactly. We'll see. Exactly. I don't really trust that. Yeah, very good. Okay, so that's number 6. Now we're moving on to number 7. Number 7 is a phrase I'm sure you've heard many times before and maybe you've used. Oh, by the way, dot, dot, dot. When do we use this phrase? Does anybody know when we say, oh, by the way? Let me know in the chat if you have any ideas when we usually use this. Donghan has written BTW and Chan has as well. Yeah, BTW is the short version when you're texting someone, sending a message. Riri says changing the subject. Yes, we use it to change the subject. Very good. Yeah, well done, guys. A few of you have said that. Yeah, we do. However, it's interesting to note that if you're chatting to someone about random topics, so maybe you're making small talk, and then the person goes, oh, by the way, it could be that the reason the person has started speaking to you is this. So this is what I really wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so imagine you've been, I don't know, you come out of your house in the morning, you see your neighbor, and your neighbor goes, oh, hi, how are you? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Yeah, yeah. You start talking about, you know, the weather and blah, 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 and you make some small talk. And then that neighbor goes, oh, by the way, did you see the email I sent to you the other day? So if they say that, it normally means that the whole reason for them talking to you is so that they can say, oh, have you seen the email? So they're kind of like, it's a way of introducing what you really wanted to say, the important part of the conversation. So I wrote that down here. Oh, by the way, did you see that email I sent you? So maybe I haven't answered the email. He wanted to check whether I'd received it. So obviously he didn't come up to me directly and say, oh, hi, did you receive the email? Instead, he said, oh, hi, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about everything except that. And then, oh, by the way, did you... So if someone says that, it's like a kind of indirect way of kind of interrupting the conversation in order to ask the important question, which is that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's quite an important one to know. And also to use. You can use it yourselves. Yeah. So the big picture, Chan says. Exactly. Yeah. So that might be the part of the conversation that they've been waiting to get to. But as you know, in Britain, we like to make small talk so as to warm up the conversation first. Yeah. Chris B says, can I say however instead? No, don't use however, because however is usually used as a contrast, like when you're contradicting something you've said. So it's more like but. This is different. This is a way of indicating that you're going to change the conversation completely. You're going to change direction. Sanyang says, as an example, hi mate, how's your day? Good? Oh, okay. By the way, do you have any coins? My classmates often do it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, so you're familiar with that. Brilliant. There you go. Perfect. All right, let's move on to our next one, which is actually our final one of the day, number 8 on our list. Here we go. Number 8 of things Brits say and what they actually mean. This one I might have talked about before. Some of you might be familiar with it. And here we go. You're right. Or instead of you all right, you could say you're right. So that's quite a casual way of saying it. Y apostrophe means you in this case. So if somebody said you're right, you might imagine that they're asking if you're okay. So they're actually asking, how are you? Are you okay? Are you all right? Yeah. This is kind of a London thing, I've been told, because apparently in other parts of the UK, it's not done as much. So it's more of a London greeting. But it doesn't actually mean, are you all right? Or are you okay? It actually means hi. So it's a greeting. It's like saying hello. So if you are, again, let's imagine a neighbor, yeah? Imagine you're walking into your building, your neighbor is crossing, passing by, and you go, you're right, and they go, you're right, and that's all that happens. You're right, you're right. That's the end. It's a very, very casual way of greeting someone, used a lot in London. So I think I've written an example here for you. Yeah, very short, very sweet. Hi, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And that's the end of the conversation. Yeah. Are you okay? So we said, yeah, it's not actually asking that. It's just saying hello. So it's just a hello, really. Yeah, it does mean hi, Master 8. That's right. Yeah. Donghan says, wrong guess again. Oh, dear. Yeah, so yeah, you don't need to answer anything special. You just need to say, you're right, you're right, and that's it. Yeah. Sanyang says, that's one of the most confusing British greetings Americans have ever heard. Is that true? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be confusing. I remember some of my students telling me that British people had said to them, you're right, and they'd kind of stopped and said, yeah, I'm fine, thank you, how are you? And they tried to, but that's unusual. We wouldn't normally stop and chat. It's more of a quick way of kind of acknowledging the other person, without being rude. We just say, you're right, like, hi, I've noticed you, hello, and then you keep going. So it's a very short, informal greeting, very casual. But as I said, it's used a lot in London. I'm not sure it's used as much in other parts of the UK, but in London it's a very, very common thing. Yeah. Okay, so that is our 8. So we've done 8 phrases that British people use that might not be the way they look. Okay, they might not mean the same thing as you would initially think. I hope that's been helpful for you. We're now going to go on to our mini quiz. So let me know if you're ready to answer a couple of questions that I've prepared for you. As usual, always write your answer in the chat. A, B, or A, B, or C, depending on how many options you have. The first person, I'll tell you who was the first person to get it right, as usual. Sanyang says, I know that, but I think I'll stop when I hear it. Yeah, you don't need to stop. Just kind of like nod your head, just, yeah, acknowledge them. Yeah. Hello to Farzad, hello. And Charles, hello, how are you? You're just in time for our mini quiz. Here we go. So, question 1. 2 options this time, A or B. So I'm going to read it as well. So if a British person says that your singing is not bad, should you be A, disappointed, or should you be B, pleased? What do you think? What would your feeling be when you hear this phrase, that was not bad? Yeah. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Well done, guys. You've done very well. You've clearly been listening. Good job. So the answer is B. Well done. You should be pleased. And it seems the first person to get this right was Sue Kim. Well done, Sue, for getting it right the first time. Fantastic. Lovely. Not bad. Fantastic. I say fantastic a lot because I want my students to know for sure that I'm praising you, okay? But yeah, the answer is B. You should be pleased. Your singing's not bad. It's a compliment. Well done, Sue. Okay, next question. Here we go. So, if a British guest comes to your house and says, "It's a bit warm in here, isn't it?" what should you think to yourself? A, "Oh, I'd better turn the heating down." Or B, "Oh, it's okay. He or she's not very warm." So let me know A or B. Some answers are coming in already. Get your answers in, guys. Seems like you've all been listening very well. Good job. Lots of answers coming in. Very, very good. It seems the winner of this round was Riri. Well done, Riri. It means A. I'd better turn the heating down. So if you say it's a bit warm in here, ooh, it must be boiling in that room. So yes, I should turn the heating down so it's less hot in the room. Well done to Riri for getting it right the first time. Good job, guys. Okay, so we have one more question in the mini quiz. Question number 3. Here we go. If you bump into an old friend and they say, "We should go for a pint sometime," what should you do? A, "Yeah, that would be nice." Or B, "Great, when are you free?" The question should say, what should you say, not what should you do? Yeah? Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Okay, I think most of you got it right. Well done. It looks like Riri was the first one to get it right first time again. Good job. The answer is A. Yeah, all of you've said A, I think. Yeah, very good, Riri. You got 2 out of 3. Well done. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, just agree to say that. Don't get your diary out. Don't make a date because that would make it very, very awkward for both of you. So, yeah, we should go for a pint sometime or we should meet up sometime. Just say, yeah, that would be nice. Or, yeah, sure. Yeah. Very good. Donghan says a pint equals beer. Yes, it means a pint of beer. So the big ones. Yeah. But a lot of people say a pint instead of a beer in England. No. All right. That is the end of the live stream. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been great. You've been very active in participating with everything. I hope you found it useful. And I will be here the same time next week for another live stream with a different topic as well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the week and that you enjoyed this live stream. I enjoyed it. As usual, tell your friends, tell people, friends of yours who want to learn English. Try and recommend this channel. Get people to subscribe. And don't forget, every Tuesday, same time, put a reminder in your diaries. I'll be here next week as well. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. UK time. Okay, which I believe is 10 p.m. in Korea if you're in Korea. You're welcome, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Unsu says, I participated more than my lecture at uni. Ah, there you go. All right. You're very welcome. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.